Good morning. Welcome to Sunday, July 26th. Today, I'm going to start off with my wows and my pows. And my wow this past week was I got to see my little friend Cato. And Cato is 2 years old. He's the little boy I used to watch for about a year and a half. But he came out to the lake and we threw rocks in the water. And he ran his lawnmower that makes bubbles. And then we went on a boat ride. So that was my definite wow. My POW is going to be for a cure for COVID-19. And our question today is, when can I talk to God? It continues with our uniqueness series. Well, our affirmation says, I am still and I talk to God. Well, when you're still, it means that you're quiet and you're calm. And when you're thinking clearly is the best time when you can talk to God. And when you're calm enough, you can also hear God back. But sometimes our thoughts are like in this snow globe. And they're all flying around like these little bits of glitter. But it's best if you wait for all of this stuff, your thoughts in your brain, to settle down and then talk to God. Makes it a little bit easier to hear what He's going to say back to you. Our meditation today, I will read it to you. It says, let's get into a comfortable position. Close your eyes if you would like to. Breathe slowly and gently in through your nose and out through your mouth. Become still and calm. Here I am, God. I am your child. I listen all day to hear your messages to me. I hear your love in the warmth of the sun as it warms my body. I hear your love in the hug of the clouds as they float gently in the sky to protect and water the earth. I hear your wisdom in the songs of the birds and animals. I hear your guidance in the breeze that blows my hair and brushes my face. I listen for your messages of comfort in my dreams. Thank you, God, for being with me day and night. You may open your eyes now. Come on back to the video. All right, our story today is called Samuel Hears a Voice. Now, praying has two parts, talking to God and listening to God. Our story today shows us how one boy was willing to listen. It's called Samuel Hears a Voice. Now that God's people were living in their own land, there were so many things He wanted to tell them. How to be happy, how to care for each other, how to protect themselves from their enemies. So God decided to choose someone to speak for Him, someone He could talk to, who could then go and talk to the people, someone called a prophet. God looked and He looked all over the land of Israel, eager to pick just the right person. And finally, He found one. In the village of Shiloh, in the house of Eli, the priest, a little boy. Samuel called God one night, Samuel, I want to talk with you. Samuel sat up and he rubbed his sleepy eyes. He'd never heard God's voice before, and he thought that old Eli was calling him. Samuel stumbled into Eli's room to see what he wanted, but Eli just shooed him back to bed. Samuel, God called again, Samuel, listen. Samuel was confused this time and a little scared, so he crept back into Eli's room. I told you, boy. Ugh, yawned the priest. I didn't call you. Now off to bed. Samuel didn't know what to think as he crawled under his covers. But when God called, Samuel, Samuel, for the third time, he knew what to do. He dashed back to Eli just as fast as he could. Samuel, sighed Eli, if either of us is going to get any sleep tonight, we need to find out who's calling you. And I have an idea who it might be. So, the next time you hear that voice, I don't want you to come running in here. Instead, I want you to say, speak, Lord, and I will listen. Samuel's eyes opened wide. You mean it's God who's calling me? Do as I tell you, said Eli, and we'll find out. So Samuel went back to bed. God called his name again. And this time Samuel stayed there and listened to God, and his eyes opened wide with wonder. And from that moment until Samuel was himself an old man, God talked to Samuel, giving him messages to pass on to the people. And just like the first time, God's messages never failed to leave him wide-eyed with wonder. That's a great story. So basically, we want to know who was Samuel and who was Eli. Well, Samuel was just a little boy, and Eli was an older priest that Samuel lived with. Samuel also became the prophet because he listened to God. At first, what did Eli tell him in the first part of the story? He said, "Go back to bed. I can't sleep." And then what did God want his people to know? In the very beginning, it said he wanted the people to know how to be happy, how to take care of each other, and how to protect themselves from their enemies. That's what God wanted them to know. Now another question. What did Eli tell Samuel to say when the voice spoke to him again? This is the third time. He said, "Speak, Lord, and I will listen." So, when can you speak to God? If you said anytime at all, anytime, you're right. But how can you listen to God? Well, it's kind of important if you get still and quiet and peaceful. You got to be present in the moment. All right, our creative experience today, we were going to all have prayer request cards if we were in church, and we were going to pair up. And you can pair up if you'd like to, but you don't have to do that. But what I want you to do is get a piece of paper. And if you are going to do this with your sibling or something, you each get a half of a sheet of this paper. Or you can do it by yourself. I did it by myself. And what I wrote is, my prayer is for, and I wrote a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19 and health and balance for our world. And then I drew a picture of those things. Now, just to let you know, you can send your prayer request to this. I'm going to leave this up here for quite a bit of time so that you can either write it down while I hold it up, or you can take a picture of it. But you can send your prayer request to Silent Unity, and they will be prayed over for 30 days. The Unity Movement was founded on prayer. People are praying 24 hours a day at Silent Unity, Unity's prayer ministry. They accept prayer requests by mail, phone, and by email. And if you want, you can send your prayer request, even in the drawing form, to Silent Unity at Unity Village, and they will pray over it. You can also call and you can ask for prayer support, and someone will talk with you. I hope you got all that. It's quite a bit of information. But if you didn't get all this, if you have a Unity directory, all this information is in there as well. I'm going to set that down now. So you can just send that right to them. Now remember, I am still and I talk to God. That is our affirmation today. Let's do the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Yay, God. Know that you are loved, special, and important to me. And until next week, make it a great week and stay safe. Namaste.